Okay. So many hearts that were not touched, so many dreams that were not embraced, so many waters that did not flow, so many stars that did not glow, so many worlds that did not come, so many thoughts that did not dare, syllables that did not bind, and sorrows that could not be fined. So many voids I have not filled, so many roads I have not crossed, so many paths are yet to be seen, so many journeys are yet to be deemed, so many journeys are yet to be deemed. How truly beautiful this platform of Shakti Talks will take you to those roads that are less traveled or less known. Let us explore all those roads, all those waters. Let us sail together today with our co-traveler, Miss Vinita Bhatia. Let us cherish this journey with her. Good evening, everyone. My name is Juhi Garg, and I welcome you all to Shakti Talks episode 2. A very unique initiative for all of you, a journey of self-exploration, a journey of knowing each other, a journey that can take you to the classroom, from the classroom to the boardroom. Today, we have with us a remarkably successful corporate woman who broke all the perceived barriers and reached to the top. Please join me welcoming Ms. Vinita Bhatia. Vinita is a senior business leader with over 2 decades of diverse experience in media industry across multiple platforms: TV, print, radio, digital, and sports. She has worked for some of the top international and national media brands like Star TV Network, Fox and Disney, Sony Pictures, Zee Entertainment, Times of India, Radio City, 91.91 FM, Hindustan Times, Ethnic Channel, Group of Canada. Vinita is the first woman in the country to head and to be the part of launch of Kabaddi League. She was a Doordarshan and All India radio presenter and has written newspaper in the early years of her career. Vinita is an influencer for media and information sector for women innovators, supported by MSME and UN Women. She comes from the family of freedom fighters, thus making a social impact is in her DNA. Passionate about social change, she has been volunteering parallelly over 20 years with NGOs, spent a lot of her personal time in encouraging women, empowering youth for value educated education for Soga Gakkai International, and is the board member of an NGO. She champions gender diversity and inclusion. Amongst several awards that she has received over a period of time, her name is imprinted in Asia Book of Records. She has also received honorary journalist award from UP government in contributing for launching Zee City Cable in mid 90s. Vinita has become from Delhi University and MBA from EMPI Business School with executive MBA from ISB Hyderabad. Wow, what a journey, Vinita. We would
Thank
love
you.
to know more about you. We would love
Thank
to
you.
know your story of life and career. Please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Juhi, for inviting me for this initiative, Shakti Talk.
Our
Um,
pleasure.
in fact, this is my second time with UPES. Last year, I visited your campus. It's a beautiful campus that you have. But this particular initiative of yours, which is Shakti Talks, is even more close to my heart because it deals with women empowerment, which is definitely a subject that I cherish. So you've already shared a lot about me as far as my journey is concerned. Um, And we did discuss in the beginning that what we are talking about largely is our journey from the classroom to the boardroom. So I think my journey from the classroom, from right from the school till the time I've done my MBA, has been very crucial and instrumental in how my journey in my career has shaped up. So just to share with you, take a step back. Um, Born and brought up in a middle class family. But yes, I had to face one of the setbacks very early on in my life, which is losing my father at the early age of 10. So naturally, when you lose one parent, it does make things difficult emotionally for you. And not only one had to battle with that, but because my mother used to be busy, taking care of his health. So in the early part, I can say literally from grade two onwards, me and my brother used to spend a lot of time by ourselves, go to school by ourselves. My mother wasn't around. So the entire school journey, if I may say, was spent in a lot of financial hardships post my father passed away when I was 10. And so I had to work right from a very early age. So in during my school days, I used to even take tuitions so that I could earn some pocket money. And I did that throughout till I was in grade 12. And yes, I was a good student always. So I'm very grateful to my school. They offered me scholarships post my father passed away, part scholarship, because of which it made things easy for us. And thereon, after when once I finished my schooling, again, Juhi, it was always that I have to be self-dependent, and especially I have to be financially independent. So the day I finished my 12th board, like if today I finished my 12th board, the next day morning itself, I had started to work. And incidentally, uh, again, that first job was of a teacher. And I can tell you, being a teacher is really, really difficult. So, my deep gratitude to all of you because it's a very difficult job. I feel that way because the teachers do a lot of hard work and the result is to be brought out by the students. It's not in your hands. So my first small part-time job I can say was in a kindergarten school. I worked with them for a few months. Then, of course, during post year 12, that's also the time that you're looking at your higher education. And I had applied to universities in USA, particularly New York University and one more university in US, which I did get through. So I was just waiting for things to roll on. But I was constantly working throughout. So another math teacher job as a temp. And then I started working as an academic counselor in a computer training institute. So I have done a lot of jobs, if I may say, honestly, even before I turned 18. And then the journey continued. So to talk a bit more, of course, I did get my admission in the City University of New York. But like I said, we were financially not that well off. And so hence I could not go because that time it was required that we present the entire proof of 4 years of financial support, which we tried, but we could not somehow manage. So then it changed the course of my academic education, if I may say, Juhi. Initially, I wanted to be an engineer. And I thought that I'm going to go only to the best. It was either CUNY or it was IIT. And I did not take IIT exam because I then got to, New York. So, like I said, so I kept on doing all these jobs, and then I changed the course of my life. I said, if I'm not going to do engineering, let me do BCom honors. So from science, I moved to commerce, and then post that, of course, I did my MBA. But during this entire journey of education, I had been working throughout. So I did many jobs. So something that you read out from my bio, which is, I got one of the awards as honorary journalist, from the UP government. So I helped in the launch of City Cable. which is actually the local channel of BTV, way back in I would say the mid 90s. And I was, of course, still doing my college at that point of time. So at that point, also, I would be very hardworking. I decided on programming, which was perhaps way ahead of its time. So I used to ride a scooter in a city like Kanpur, where, parents would not even allow their boys to go out. But thanks to my mother, I always had a very encouraging mother. So I would ride a scooter at 3 a.m. in the night and make the cameraman sit behind my back. And then we would cover these interesting programs. And then the programming of City Cable was so interesting that I also did my first celebrity interview for City Cable. So way back that time, we used to have this fusion artist. I'm not sure if many of the youngsters today would know about him. But I interviewed Remo Fernandez, which was actually the first celebrity interview of City Cable. So what City Cable did is send, at that time used to have these VHS tapes actually, the Vita came in later. So they sent it to Delhi. And Mr. Raina was heading City Cable in Delhi, and he said, wow, this girl, what is she doing in Kanpur? And she needs to actually come to Delhi, her place is here. So to be very honest, I actually did my BCom honors through Delhi University, but through correspondence, because I also needed to earn for myself during this time. So parallelly, I was working, I was studying, and I was pursuing all my interests. And that is when I also used to be an anchor for Yuvavani. I used to write for newspapers like Indian Express. I used to write articles for Pioneer, Indian Express, sometimes even Dainik Jagran. And I used to compare city level shows. So all that I have done. And then, of course, 2 years I worked in Kanpur. And then since I realized that I will possibly have larger opportunities in Delhi, and since I wasn't going to US anymore, so I very much decided that Delhi is where my place is going to be. We did have, between me and my mother, we did have a bit of, this discussion. She said, "Jo log Kanpur mein hote hain, to kya don't they go?" I said, "No, I have done whatever I need to do here, but I think I want to go to Delhi," and that is where I came. And I started preparing for my MBA. And then, of course, it was a 2-year program that I did. But in essence, what I'm trying to share through this journey is that I worked throughout, whether even during my MBA, and even that time I did programs in Doordarshan. So it was pursuing my hobby as well as earning for myself. I have even gone to trade fairs and sold clothes. And there was a time, honestly, Juhi, when I had come to Delhi. It was last year of my undergrad program, and I was preparing for my MBA, but I was still applying for a lot of colleges in US. And you would know that those pre-apps are very expensive. So we didn't have enough money, and I didn't have the heart to ask my mother. I have literally lived with friends, and I didn't have the heart to ask my mother for any more money. So I used to live on just bread and salt, which very few people know. But I never told my mother about it because she would be disheartened. So it's all right. I lived like that. And then, of course, I told my mother, I was very clear. She was very clear that I need to get my education. I was very clear I need to get my education. So I told her that you spend on my MBA. Of course, there also I got scholarship. Past scholarship, and that is how we were able to, I was able to finish my education, my postgrad. So, I've been working throughout, and that's been my journey from school to college, I would say. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
So, and the reason, sorry, I share this very, very personal thing of my life is because most of the time, Juhi, we tend to think it's okay to call you Juhi, right? I know you are a professor.
Okay, fine. No, what else you will call me?
Okay. So, Julie, why today I chose to open this chapter of my life with the youngsters? Uh, because sometimes we may come from very normal backgrounds where we've had a very normal upbringing with both the parents there, with everything very stable, etc. But many a times, whether we may lose one of the parents or they may face financial challenges, health challenges, so many challenges that life throws at you. So what can happen is we may, as young people, just of 17, 18, which is a very impressionable age also, we may tend to feel that something is not okay with our life. And I wish I had this. I wish my father was there. I wish, I had a privileged upbringing like others, or at least a normal upbringing. But the reason I share this chapter of my life today, because there may be perhaps many people in the audience, I don't know, who may be facing many challenges, whether it's of family or finances, etc. So people come from different backgrounds, and we decide our own destiny. And so I also at this point of time want to congratulate the initiative that you all have taken, which is of giving 25% scholarship, because I am sure, I'm so very sure that there may be so many people really needing it. So thank you for that initiative that
Thank you.
it will
Thank
help.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
yeah.
acknowledging this thing that you have seen and understood the importance of it. Great respect for you, Vinita. Great respect from the heart that you've seen this thing in your life and you've come to this level. I mean, very few people cope up with these challenges and reach to this level. They kind of uh, drop the idea of pursuing life, so to say, and uh, pursuing career and pursuing so many things, education, when they see these hardships. Correct.
True,
So
true,
my next
true.
question
That's true.
is related to this only.
Yeah.
You've been a national head for media, entertainment, and sports. You've started Kabaddi League. You are a motivator and influencer for innovator and entrepreneurs. Your name is mentioned in Asia Book of Records. I mean, how do you do these many things together, and that is so successfully? What is your secret mantra? I mean, we all would like to know. We all would love to understand and learn the art of doing these many things so successfully.
So, Juhi, there is no secret mantra. There is no abracadabra I do. I'm just like any one of you, another human being. Uh, but yes, what I can say is that I've already shared my journey of the classroom. So that made me very determined in many ways of what my future was going to be like. So I was very clear, of course, that I'm going to pursue my education. It's important. The second is, if you talk of all these things, they stem from one thought, which is commitment, if I must say. Commitment, sincerity, hard work, and never giving up.
Wow.
So when I say commitment, एक वो डायलॉग भी है ना मूवी में कि एक बार मैंने कमिटमेंट कर दी तो फिर किसी और का नहीं सुनते. So it is a commitment not to someone else. It is a commitment to our own self that this is how I'm going to lead my life, and I'm not going to give up on my own life. Then whatever else comes along the way. So how your question was how one has been able to do all of these roles, sometimes even multitask, and do them successfully. So like I said, and none of these things I knew. I did not academically study for them. So I had to really figure out when I took up Kabaddi. I did not even know the S of sports. Of course, I had played in school, but doing it like being part of a league, launching it at a business, and doing it first time in India, I did not even know the S of sports. So literally, I can tell you, one, I went back to books. I had to read, I had to study, so that my conversation sounds more knowledgeable. And at the same time, I had to train myself in the sense of what the business pitch is going to be like. Similarly, when I have done the role of being the head of media, entertainment, and sports, believe you me, to give you an example, on one time I would be meeting, let's say, the marketing head of Star Network, and they have multiple channels, and the other time I would be meeting let's say, the marketing head of a particular different channel, and all have different kind of programming. Let's say a Discovery to a Sony, all have different genres of programming. So one of the other things that I always do is preparedness. So before I would get into a meeting, I would always prepare myself. So I can literally tell you, if I've been in Bombay and I've done 5 meetings in a day, so I have always gone prepared into a meeting as much as I can. It can always throw questions if I don't know. Nobody knows everything. So commitment and being prepared or preparing for things, which shows your sincerity. And last but not the least, the spirit of never giving up, no matter how hard the things are. So none of these things have been easy. I can tell you the role of whether when I was heading the Kabaddi League, or whether the role of media, entertainment, and sports. Every day there were new challenges. Every day, but never give up was the spirit I carried with myself, and so you continue to overcome one challenge after the other. That's it.
Beautiful, beautiful. My next question is, I feel, is even tougher. You come from you come from a very celebrated family, I must say, in the sense that it gives you great responsibility on your shoulder. You come from the family of freedom fighters. You come from the family of uh, a mother. You're a daughter of a mother who's known to be the Mother Teresa of Kanpur. It's quite a responsibility. You see, how do you feel having such a label? How does it feel, and how this label has impacted your life?
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate, Julie. My grandfather, my maternal grandfather, was a freedom fighter. He fought alongside Gandhiji also, and he's gone to jail. Then my mother, as you rightly quoted, she's given the title of Mother Teresa of Kanpur. We also run old age homes, and she's somebody who's celebrated sounds more like being in the stardom, but I would say she's more so respected, Julie, that if she even walks on the streets or walks into a hospital, people bow down. So it is out of respect.
Okay.
So what does it do to me? Like as you rightly said, um, there are two things. First is, yes, I feel very good about it, and it puts upon me even more responsibility that I take, if I may say, this legacy, of inheritance forward in a very responsible manner. Now, I may not do the exact same things as they have done. Maybe I don't have to go to a jail today. I don't have to be involved in a freedom movement. Or maybe I may not be doing the work that my mother has already done. But like I said, it puts responsibility upon me, and I don't crumble under responsibility. So sometimes you can feel very overburdened or weighed. Oh my God, like, am I? Sometimes we tend to question ourselves: Am I good enough? Will I be able to match up to them? So the point is that we ourselves are our own unique individuals, and what I do, the work, whether in terms of my career or whether what I do in terms of philanthropy, or women empowerment or youth empowerment or the value system, it's the work that I do. So in a nutshell, I feel that I have to carry forward what is true to me, which is the work. Today, I feel the value systems are very important in the kind of world that we are living in. And I mean, we have so much of information, so we can get very influenced by right or wrong ideologies. So I just follow, I try to follow the right value system. So I can only say is that it has given me a more sense of responsibility and yet do my own thing and keep the value system intact. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So you'd like to take forward the legacy in your own special way. That's so beautifully said. So wow, you from a very young age you started working from the executive level to the managerial level, so to the senior leadership level, to the senior leadership level. So you've seen all the levels, and of course, this journey must have been really tough. So, how do you identify your style of leadership? What is your style of leadership, and how it has got evolved over a period of time?
Very nice question, Rosie. Uh, the last word that you use, evolve, is very important. If we maintain the same style in anything, it's not just a work leadership style, but anything. So I'll take on from there. So, we all learn along the way. So from the time that I started taking the role of, let's say, team management and leadership, and as we grow along the way, our teams also grow, the sizes of the teams grow, and the diversity of the teams grows. We work across geos, etc. So our maturity level also has to change. So I would say largely so far, or in the early years, I still feel that I'm in the prime of my career. So I have a long way to go. So largely my leadership style has been one, a very hands-on leader, and two, somebody who leads from the front. So to give you an example, so I have seen at least two and now three. So two recessions I have seen in my career spanning 21 years. And third, of course, COVID right now, everyone is seeing. So, in fact, when I started my career, that itself was a recession year. And then in 2009 was also a recession year where a lot of layoffs, etc. happened. And I was also a leader, like managing a whole big portfolio at that point of time. Now, uh, what is important is what is how the general leads. So in such difficult times is when one is able to see the true strength of a leader. So if the heart of the general is weak, then the army is also going to be weak. Oh my God, how do we fight in the forefront? So I have been always I have believed in leading from the front. So even those, when the recession years happened in 2009, while some of my colleagues were saying that, hey, it's a recession year, we are going to close the year at a much lower business level, etc., etc. But to my own self, the commitment was that no, I am going to, no matter what, um, I'm going to close at a higher level. So the heart of the general decides the victory. So the leadership style, but over the period of time, evolves. Very recently, I had read somewhere the leadership style of Lord Ram versus Lord Krishna. So Lord Ram had to lead an army of monkeys, so he had to lead from the front. But as we grow in our careers, we have to lead very senior management who are already themselves very evolved, their senior leadership. So then the leadership style changes, which is also changing for me, which is that you give them a lot of freedom in doing what they want to do. They are responsible for the domains that they manage. But one thing is there, Juhi, that at the end of the day, whatever position we are in, whether we are the head of a unit, head of a vertical, head of a department, or head of a company, if you are the leader, if anything goes wrong, you are always going to be responsible. So I give all the freedom because there are senior leaders working, but how it has evolved is just keep a very macro view, and at the same time, yet keep an eye on that compliance is being met.
Beautiful input that the heart of the journal has to be compassionate, has to be big, and micro view as well as the macro view. So great input from you. Thank you so much, Vinita. So you must be really proud of your decisions, as you said, as a leader. And making choices in life as a person and making choices in life as a leader, both are tough. And both as a leader and as a person, making choices and making decisions is a tough task. But which one decision made you really, really, which was the toughest decision? Let me be very straight. Which was the toughest decision of your life as a leader,
Professionally or personally?
professionally? Personally, we had a long discussions on that.
Yes. Thank you
So,
so much. Thank you. Thank you. And I thought you put me in a spot,
no, no,
but
no, I don't want
nevertheless,
to.
yeah.
Yeah,
So professionally, what happens to you since, whenever you work passionately for anything, and I don't know any other way of working, honestly. Doesn't matter whether I've been an executive or whether I've been a senior manager or been a vice president. I know that I've always worked.
closer. I kind of finding it little difficult to hear you. Little closer
Uh,
or
is it? Let me know if when it gets better for you. Is it
better,
better?
better. I'm so sorry to
Better?
interrupt you. Yeah,
No problem. So, like I said, Juhi, when we here, is it audible?
better.
Yes. Okay. So, like I said, we all, whoever has to reach a certain place in their career, there's no other way of working but to work very passionately. So when we work very passionately for something and build something, it is very natural that we get emotionally attached to that work or to that position or to that profile or to that company. So when we have to part ways with it, whether you have to part ways or you have to go or pass on that role to someone else that you built through your hard work, it becomes a very tough decision because it becomes very emotional. So I've had to take many of these tough decisions in my life that I built something and then passed on to someone else, or I built a particular branch or a business and then had to leave the organization. I won't name them, but through these journeys, one faces everything, and those are some of the ones that really sort of leave an imprint here. But it's all in the game, and one
All
takes it positively. Yes, yes,
was. So all part of the game.
yes.
Okay, okay, great. So you've achieved a lot in your life, a lot of awards, a lot of ups and downs, and from all the downs, you've reached to the top again, and that's the beauty of this persona. So, which one accomplishment you're proudest of?
Oops. It's
These are
like,
little
you're
questions, but very
asking a,
important.
oops. That's why I said, oops, it's like you're asking a parent to choose your favorite child, which is very difficult because all the children are different. They are equally, lovable for the, and equally dear to the parents. Really, I cannot honestly point one. So if you allow me, I'm going to choose two, three of them and in no order of priority. So one of the roles that is when I was heading Radio City is also I worked for them for nearly 4 years, and it's very dear to me for two, three reasons. One is that when I had taken that profile, I had just conceived. So it was a very difficult mandate from two points of view. One, radio industry per se was at a very nascent stage. So we were just only 3 to 4% of the entire media pie. So, when we would go to our clients seeking business, you had to literally fight for every penny of the business because one had to be an evangelist. So we had to explain that why you have to buy radio and what are the benefits, etc., etc. So one had to act as an evangelist. And two, why the role is very dear, like I discussed, shared with you, that I just conceived at that point of time. And the mandate was I had to build a branch which was literally wiped out. Very few people from the earlier regime were left. So I literally built the team, if I can say, from scratch. 20 for 5 people and going up to almost 35 plus people. And from the pits, if I may say, but really low level. So during my entire pregnancy period, without taking a break and with whatever else we faced through it, I still worked extremely hard with my condition. And we took the business in the first year itself from whatever level it was to I can say in absolute number now I recall 10 crores more, but in I think in digital, as in sorry, in percentage it would be literally I would say 30-40% growth in a single year. Yeah.
Wow.
So that is one which is very close to my heart, and also because my daughter was also born during that time. So the next 1.5 years, she grew up in the radio station itself, and I was posted in a different location. I was a cluster head for North, but I was posted in Bangalore. So every week I would travel with her, a newborn baby, a 3-month-old child. That's how the journey started. Every week I would travel with her from Bangalore to Delhi, do my business meetings, and go back. And this I did for 1.5 years. And literally, when I used to be in Bangalore, so she grew up in a radio station. So that is one is very close to my heart. And if you
Amazing.
allow me, I'm going to quickly share one of the other two roles which are very dear to me. Which also, one of course, Kabaddi League also, because it was the first time ever it was happening in the country. And since it was happening for the first time, so nobody knew anything. And you know the challenges of setting up anything new. So literally, uh, deciding on a framework for it. And even though you are a leader, you are like a national head or you are a vice president, it doesn't matter. You are everything from a chaprasi to the national head who is representing the company. So I did all of that from laying the mat to dealing with the players psychologically. And last but not the least, my role as the national head of media, entertainment, and sports for Times of India is a role which is very, very dear because every day there has been new excitement, and sports was at a very nascent stage in the country 5-6 years ago when I took that role. So thanks to people like girls like TV Sindhu, girls came up, and so every day I had to deal with a new kind of a league, a badminton league, a volleyball league, a basketball league. So every day was a new day and very exciting. And also, I was part of launch of which not many of you may know or it's written about is the T1 carboat racing, which is equivalent of the Formula One racing, which was also launched in India. Of course, it got wrapped up in a year or two, but it was launched, and it was launched very much in the waters of Marine Drive. So I've been part of that launch in India. So that role is also very dear to me.
Wow. Amazing. There's so many, actually.
Yeah, so
Lovely,
difficult to
lovely,
choose.
lovely. But
Yeah.
I love the Kabaddi League one. All
Yes.
of it, of course. I mean, the lovely stories and all the accomplishments are so wonderful. Your daughter's story I heard last time also while our research also I was doing your research on you and our personal interaction. That is out of the world, definitely. But why Kabaddi League? Because this is something which is very new, which happened, and people were very apprehensive about it. I remember the times when it was about to come, and
Yes.
people were very apprehensive about it. They were not ready to accept the concept, and it came
Yes.
so wonderfully, and then they accepted very happily, and it actually broke all the barriers. So
Yes.
great,
Like
great.
rest as they like. I mean, always like rest as they say is history. You very rightly said because initially when I used to go to the market talking about the Kabaddi League, I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they were only shut doors, and that what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And today, any sports forum that we go to, because cricket, is done to death. So the only sport which first gets spoken about is the Kabaddi League, and today everybody talks about it. It's the first thing spoken about in any sports forum.
It's remarkable. It's remarkable. Thank you so much. So, how do you embrace your disappointments, Vinita? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm coming to a different side of
Mm-hmm.
the coin. I mean, uh, I'm talking about success, and suddenly to the disappointments and failures. But you also accepted, knowing you personally, when I had interactions, lengthy interactions with you offline,
Yeah.
I've come to
Yes.
know that there've been times in your life, very, very tough times. We would not
Yeah.
discuss on the open forum, but Yes, there were a couple of times. So how can you so gracefully accept those disappointments? Some of them, if you would like to discuss, and how I would want these girls, some of my colleagues are also there, and these girls to understand that accepting life gracefully is a great art, and positives
Hmm.
and negatives are both the
Yeah,
sides of the
yeah,
coin.
yeah. So, we actually, I'm just not surprised at the question because I'm glad that you asked immediately after the highs, because highs and lows, whether professionally or personally, are part of life. It's not like our life will always keep going high, 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 whether it is our career or whether it is our life. We will face challenges which we can never even fathom in our life. When unforeseen circumstances, both in work as well as in personal life. And if you talk especially about girls, if you somewhere in your question you put that also, see, I can very clearly say there is nothing like, hey, how do I embrace? In one line, first, if I have to answer it, Julie, I would say that disappointment, failures, and setbacks, I take them in the same breath as success and rise. Same breath. It will not be like this for me. So, it can happen in our life. If you face personal challenges, like I mean, one of the personal challenges I shared with you, one, you can, of course, if you lose a parent, it is anyways, at any given age and time, it is difficult to lose a parent, one. Two, it can happen, some of us, as we grow, the young girls are sitting here, some of you, like, may get married, some of you may not get married, some of you may have to face divorce, right? Some
Breakups
of
and all.
you may break up. I mean, as young girls, you may have to face breakups, you may get cheated. And the way the world has become today, it is becoming more of a norm than a rarity. Now, let me be very frank about it. I'm not somebody to keep things like really under the cover. Then what are we discussing? So all of these things we will face. Sometimes we will face, being rejected by our own dear ones. They can be our family members. Sometimes our own colleagues may cheat us, or they may be jealous of us. Sometimes our own bosses who have really raved in our successes, later on they may not want to partake, in your success. I mean, as one of the story also, like one of the saying that also goes that success has many fathers, but failure has none. Right? So I'm just saying that these are the things um, which are part and parcel of our life. Okay? So I take them in the same breath. And personally, the mantra that I follow for it, if I may say, Juhi, though it's slightly on a spiritual level, but there is no other way to deal with it. I mean, as you said, acceptance. That, I'm so sorry. Uh, so the mantra is acceptance, is the eight winds. The four winds, the favorable winds as they call, which is, when you get praise, when you get, um, let's say, awards, accolades, and so all those things where growth are there, right? Recognition. And the other unfavorable winds are when there is criticism, when there is tension, when there is decline, they may lose our job, there may be salary cuts, currently all that which is happening. So I can tell you I've seen it all. I've seen job losses, I've seen salary cuts, I've seen periods of time where one has been even without a job, or you may have a difference of opinion with an organization. At a personal level, you may have been cheated. So, all of those things. And the mantra, like I said, I follow that during these eight wins, four favorable and four unfavorable, just accept. So go like this, like the flowing water. Flowing water is never still. And if you accept and move on, that is when, through your inner strength, you will be able to face anything in life.
Beautiful. Stagnant water stinks. Just
Absolutely.
flow. Just
Yes.
flow
Yeah.
like a river.
Yes.
And you will,
Absolutely.
the time, will pass. I mean, you will pass by those ups and downs. That's so beautiful. Lovely. So, another question. So, these questions often are given to me by my students. So,
Sure.
a couple of questions are very straight, and they may sound very straight to you because they're given by the students. Students
Sure.
would like to ask these questions to you. So, one of such questions is like is this one, that if you would like to alter one of the things in your younger self, what would that one thing be? So, if you have to alter one thing in your younger self.
Uh, I am so glad whoever's asked that question, and you have asked that question in fact to me. So, uh, one thing perhaps if I would like to change is that when I was growing up, I could have felt more confident about who I was, uh, both in my characteristics and nature, and also the way I look. So what it means is straight on, and especially for girls, it does become, if I may say, kind of a stigma, or there is this external pressure that you're supposed to look in a certain way, you're supposed to behave in a certain way. If a girl is very outgoing, you'll always be told that, hey, tone down a bit, or don't be that tomboyish, or please dress up like this, or don't talk so much, don't be so forthright. Um, so I was always my own person, Juhi. But of course, when I was growing up, these things were also there at the back of my mind. But if I were to go back and change this, I grew up with some of these feelings. But I today, my thing to whether all the young girls or whether all the women over there who are listening, whoever's listening, is say that believe in just who you are, the way you are. You have to be true to yourself. So if somebody is telling you that look a certain way or behave a certain way, no, just be your natural self. And that is something I would perhaps change when I was growing up.
Amazing. So I have two quick questions, and after that, I would request all the audiences to be ready with their questions, and they may post their questions directly to me privately, mm,
Sure.
or they may put their questions in the window. That would be great. So, two quick questions to you, Vinita. One is, uh, you're planning to write a book very soon. That I know. We have discussed this. So, what is going to be the title of that book and why?
You're letting out all my secrets.
No, no, I have actually kept a lot of things with me.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. So yes, I do intend to write a book. In a way, it has already cooked up in my mind, and you asked me that what would be the title. So very spontaneously, I can say the working title of it, and most likely maybe the final title also would be. Am I audible to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it would be living a Buddha's life,
Wow.
and it's a she.
And
It's a she.
okay, Sogagakai International, something with
Uh, my answer
influence you
is
have.
both. My answer is both yes and no. But I can explain yes why I say this. So our in general, our image of a Buddha, or we very casually use the word nirvana. So we use the nirvana कि मुझे भैया nirvana चाहिए, मुक्ति चाहिए, basically हमको peace चाहिए. But nirvana is not attained sitting on a mountain top. So this to the audience, I want to make it very clear. Even Buddha, for that matter, in fact, he had everything. Shakti Buddha had everything. He was a prince and he was very good looking, but he was looking at answers of life. So the actual meaning, the literal meaning of a Buddha is the awakened one.
Yes.
Somebody who's awakened.
Yes.
Right? It's not about somebody sitting with a halo on a mountaintop and giving jnana. So the reason I choose this title is that in the midst of the muck of our life, or highs and lows, life is not only about muck, it is all good things also. So in the midst of our life, the highs and lows of our life, is a real Buddha who lives. We're just a normal person like you and me. So living a Buddha's life. And to the second part that I used to it, I said, and it's a she. So you already know that women empowerment or Shakti or youth value system is very close to my heart. So I choose the word she because we know the statistics, you know the statistics, that for women leadership to really thrive, it is still a long way. It is still, it's not Indian stats. Globally, we are just 5-6% women, in leadership. And for the exact equality to come in, it may take nearly 100 years. So, which means, and I think neither of us is going to be, alive. So at least we have to do that work at this point of time so that for our coming generations, because we've all sort of grown up in patriarchal society, so that the work that we do today is there for the future. And why I say it's a she, because at least some of the Buddhist scriptures that I have read, and from 2,500 years ago, Buddhism at that point of time also acknowledged the enlightenment of women. So I'm not saying this, it is written there in the scriptures that I have read. So I would say it was very embracing of women also at that point of time versus maybe something else. So hence my title.
Wow, this is beautiful. So you must read a beautiful book
Uh-huh.
called as Awakening the Buddha Within from Lama Suryadas. So
Okay,
it's a
sure.
beautiful, beautiful book. And
Okay.
another science says, biology says, that each being who's born, who's conceived, is
Mhm.
conceived as a woman. And after only 12 to 15 days, it decides its gender. So all of us
Wow.
are women.
Yeah, lovely.
We are primarily women.
Women.
Even if it is a man today, it was primarily a woman on the
Mm.
first 12th to 15th day of the conception. So, which is why we are slightly feminine, we are compassionate, we are motherly, we have mamata, so to say.
Yes, yes, very beautiful.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. So, a last question to you, and then I would jump to the questions by the audience. And this question is very important.
Mhm.
What advice, what one advice you would like to give to these lovely women, these students, to progress in their career and life?
So, what advice I would give to women and students, you think?
Women students, I mean, these women who are here, these ladies,
Yes,
these girls who are here
yes,
to
yes,
progress in their life and career.
sure. So, as some part of it I've already shared in my journey earlier, but to really summarize on that part, I would say, especially to all the young women with all the dreams for your career and life ahead, that the most important thing, we are also discussing women empowerment, right? We are discussing Shakti talk. So that empowerment or Shakti is is when you are able to utilize the Shakti within you in the way that you feel is best for you. So, which means you're truly empowered when you are able to take the decisions of your life yourself. So, my advice would be that let no one else tell you what you need to do in your life. I hope that all the girl students who are pursuing education now are able to continue in their careers long ahead, and we will see lots of ups and downs, whether on family front, etc., etc. But follow what your heart says, and that is true empowerment. Let not somebody else decide for you. All the challenges that come along of raising your kids, and of course sometimes we have to take care of our parents, or our parents-in-law. All these things will come; they're part of life. Please have the resilience and take that resilience out from within your own life, that continue no matter what. The most important thing is the spirit of never giving up. And to me, empowerment is when you decide what you are going to do in your life and nobody else tells you what to do.
Wow, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much. That's a lovely piece of advice. Thank you. So I can see a lot of questions pouring in. I'll take one by one. Uh, so there's a question which says, "What is?" Can you hear? Can you hear, Vinita? Can you
Yes,
listen
I
to me?
can. I can
Okay.
clearly, yes.
Okay. What is the role of partner in life for a high-performing women leaders such as yourself?
Okay. So I would like to answer it like this, that first and foremost, you as a person are very important, right? Um, Happiness has I in the center. So your self-esteem, your respect, whether you are working, not working, or even if you say a high-profile working woman, whatever, you know. First of all, your own respect to your own self and how you value your own worth is important. Now, regarding a life partner, it's up to you, your choice. You want to have a life partner, it's okay. You don't want to have a life partner, that's also fine. Sometimes we may have a partner, but they may not really be a life partner. They may not stay in our entire journey of life or a career. For whatever reason, they may be there with us for a few years. My say would be, please only have a partner who respects you. So it is not depending on the other person. And if a partner tells you, hey, leave your work, or you are not good enough, and you should, dress up like this, etc., like which I already answered in my earlier question also. An equal life partner is one, doesn't matter, marriage or no marriage, partner is who will give you equal respect for who you are and accept you as you are. So don't please compromise on that.
Okay. Great. So there's another question which says, "How do you think one can always keep learning from their surroundings?"
By keeping the child in you alive.
Oh, beautiful.
Because I'm still learning. We, I'm just to let you know, in the lockdown period, of course, all of us, this is the best time. People have learned so many new things, and I can share one anecdote. So it's not an anecdote really. So I never learned singing as a child. And that's something that I really wish, I wish I were trained because I do sing otherwise, so I'm not trained. So during this lockdown, I also started to learn to sing. There's no age of learning.
Yeah, I saw that on your
Now,
post, LinkedIn post, and other interesting post that you uh, sent. So lovely, lovely. All those beautiful songs that you sing. Uh, Another question which says, what, in your opinion, is the single biggest hindrance for a woman to lead in today's India?
to lead in today's India,
Yeah, a single woman biggest hindrance for a woman to lead in today's India.
is it used? Did you use the word single women?
Yeah, single women. Single biggest hindrance for a
Hmm.
woman to lead in today's India. Single
Yeah,
biggest hindrance.
got it now. Now the question is clear. Okay. See, I will put it differently. uh, Hindrances will always be there. If I'm today sitting here and talking, and as most of you would have gathered, the journey has not been without hindrances. So uh, let me tell you, even the next 30, 40, 50 years are not going to be without hindrances. It is totally up to you. I can name that, hey, this is the hindrance, that is the hindrance. The hindrance is within you. When you say that I cannot do this, I cannot travel alone, or there are seven men sitting in a boardroom and I'm the only single woman, and how is my point going to be taken, and whether should I speak up or not speak up, anything which comes as an impediment is from within you. So please break your own barriers, is what I would say.
Oh, great. Thank you. So I'm going to raise last two questions because it's already 6-1. So these two questions are, what can we do if we are ignored by our business partner? So it's a very important question, and I feel it is by some entrepreneur. So it's a very
Sure.
important question. So what if we get ignored by our business partner?
So so the question is not very clear to me. Ignored here can be in two sense, but the person has used the word business partner and then using ignored. Okay. So if it is a professional relationship and you are being ignored, so you need to be very vigilant. You need to get on the top of your game. That if you are business partners and there is no transparency, that is the first rule of the game. So rather than waiting, then you have to talk out very clearly that why the transparency is not there. And in case there is a personal relationship involved, which can happen with a business partner also, if there is a personal relationship involved and there you are saying that you're being ignored, then my question back to that person would be that why would you want to go to a person who's ignoring you? You would want to be cherished. So, and respected for your work and for yourself. So please talk it out very clearly, have a dialogue, and ignorance is no solution. There's something which is hiding. Don't be
Def-
coy about it.
Definitely, definitely. Communication is very important, and we should talk about it. And definitely, as you
Absolutely.
said, there's definitely something else. Okay, so Yashika asks, everybody is having bad times, so shall we wait for the situation to get better, or will it be counted as a waste of time?
There is nothing called waste of time. From my career again, I share two times, or this is the third time, Ruhi, and also Yashika, that you asked this question. There is nothing that goes waste in life. If your
Absolutely.
question is that hey, we should wait whether I'm going to get a job or whether I'm going to get into hey, we are going to go to online classes or I'm not going to get to the campus or whether I'm going to get a job, whatever be the situation, there is nothing called wasting in life. If all of us have been working from home and some of us may have or not have a job, or you are not able to go to the college or not able to get a job, including my first year, let me tell you, as I passed out my MBA, it was a year of recession. And I could not get a job as a management trainee straight away. We have high dreams at that point of time. And I had done my summer internship with GTV. So they did want to have me back in the fold, but they said very clearly that because the times of recession and we cannot take you as a management trainee, but we can take you as a vocational trainee. So I took that chance at a much, much, much lower remuneration, or what, a stipend as it's called. But 6 months I worked first as a vocational trainee, then 6 months I worked as a management trainee, and then 1 year later the confirmation happened at a very low stipend. But I don't call it a waste of time at all. So there's nothing called waste. Just keep doing something and keep enriching your life. Nothing is a waste in life.
Okay, okay, great. So I'm going to ask a last question, which is a very positive question, yet and a very powerful question. And I want to finish this conversation with this question. So, how to build my personal brand?
Hmm. Very interesting question, Ray.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So as they say, actions speak louder than words, right? So you can write anything on your CV and you can say anything that I am this, I am this, I am this, whether in your professional life or in your personal life. But whatever we really do, right, when the crucial moment comes in and how we behave, how we respond, you know, in whether it's a difficult situation or whether it's a crisis or how our day-to-day living and our general work, that is what builds our personal brand. So if I say that I have a commitment, so Juhi, for example, we spoke that we are going to log in 10 minutes prior, right? sure we are going to do such and such things. So, which means it's my commitment. So I'm always going to honor my commitment, right? If people know that Vinita is a person who's always forthright, and you can always expect honesty from her. So that consistent behavior. So consistency is the key word. So first is the action. Second is the consistent behavior. Not that how we acted one time. One time can be an aberration, good or bad, right? But that is how we build our personal brand. That consistency of our action in how we respond in our personal life as well as professional life. If I say I'm honest, I'm committed, I'm hardworking, I'm sincere, I'm forthright, then I'll always be like that, and I'll consistently be like that in my personal and professional life.
Beautiful.
And that
That's your
becomes your
brand.
personal brand. And that becomes your personal brand.
And that's why you're known for, you're famous for. Absolutely wonderful. It was such a beautiful conversation with you, Vinita. I will cherish this for life. Thank you so much. And uh, it was an enlightening session, definitely. Thank you so much from Team UPES for Shakti for accepting our invitation and sparing your valuable time for this talk. It was a complete delight to have you here with all of us. I wish to thank our mentor, Mr. Sharad Mehra, CEO GUS Asia Pacific, for all the support and encouragement. Thanks to our leaders and motivators, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Sunil Rai, Sir, Deans, Registrar Madam, Heads, faculty members, my dear students who participated, who came here, they gave their time and learned a lot. I'm sure it's going to be a major learning for them. And a big thanks to Stuti and her team, Sid, Sukeshi, Aditi, Preeti, Nupur, and great thanks to Monica and Jaya ma'am, our HR leaders. And I cannot forget, I will never forget to say huge thanks to my Shakti sisters, Team A and Team B. Shakti Team A and Shakti Team B rocks. And I love you. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for your support and love. Be with me for always. Thanks a lot, Vinita. Uh, we will talk again. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I would like to really thank UPES for inviting me and having me over. And especially, I want to thank all the people who have helped in behind the scenes because they do the unseen work, and because of which we are able to carry this forward. So, my big, heartiest gratitude and thank you to each one of you, and my best wishes to the new class as well as all the students and faculty of UPES. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.